Hi there. Welcome to our week 8 gardening update. Very exciting. 8 weeks, of course, means that seedlings that you planted 8 weeks before spring are ready to go. Today is April 3rd. Our last frost date is April 7th. Where I am in my zone, 7B, 7A, 7A, 7B. I don't remember. So it's a little bit early, but the 10-day forecast says that there's no frost on the horizon. I don't know how many plants I'm going to put out this weekend, but I'm definitely going to put some plants out this weekend so I can start hardening off and up potting other plants. We got to check on the compost, see how that's doing. We accepted defeat. We bought a bunch of compost this weekend yesterday at the garden center, so we're going to add the compost to the Greenstalk planter that we made last episode. And then if all that goes well, we're going to start adding soil to the Birdie's bed's top layer, as well as compost and building our own soil there. Got some good new amendments, learned a little bit more about that this week. And then if everything goes well, we're gonna start getting some plants into the ground outside this weekend, which is very, very exciting. But first, we are going to pot up some tomatoes and check on the compost. So let's get started. Woohoo! Guys hardening off. Everything's looking pretty good. These potted up peppers are looking good. These tomatoes, the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to fill up the rest of those pots so they can get some roots. And yeah, we're going to start putting some of the stuff outside this week. But everything's looking pretty good. Oh, we got a store-bought parsley there. My overwintered parsley did not work. I've kind of got this cycle going on where I use the week's cardboard, shred it up during the week, and then put it in the compost, and then I clean up before I do my gardening with all the other cardboard that has piled up during the week. So we're going to shred the cardboard so I'll have it for next week's compost. Okay, so I wanted to do that to show you about how much cardboard you can get, how many boxes you can get in here. And this is about a week of composting for me. That's now with a family of 5. So it doesn't get all your cardboard, obviously. Still have this big stuff, some small stuff up in the recycling, but it makes a pretty serious dent. And I feel pretty good about a lot of these, you know, soy ink, black ink boxes, uncoated, no color, getting those and putting them in the ground. I feel good about that. So it's a little bit of a pain because you got to rip them up and you got to take all the labels and adhesives off. So not easy. That took about for a half hour, but I think it's worth it. So, you know, your mileage may vary. Anyway, this is now cleaned off. So we're going to start doing some potting up. As I suspected, last week's 80 degrees was a myth. It was just because it was warm out. And this is still not a warm compost pile. Everybody on the internet makes it sound so easy. Suspect it's still water, looking kind of dry, but I don't know. It rained a lot. It rained yesterday. It rained a lot. This has got a lot of water, and it is not warm. Got carbon, got nitrogen, got water. Don't know what I'm doing wrong, but whatever. We're gonna keep at it. We got the home scraps, we got the shredded cardboard, we got the water. We're gonna dump it all in, stir it all up. I mean, I don't know, it looks good. It feels good. It looks like it's composting. I feel like there's dirt in it. When I made the bins, it used to be over here, and this dirt at the bottom felt very much like compost. And I'm just gonna keep at it. No success this week, but whatever. Even if it takes a year, I'll get to it anyway. Plus, I'm not throwing all this stuff away, so I feel good about it anyway. Leaf mold's doing great. I might actually use some of this as mulch today or this week. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Combination of pine needles and leaf mold compost. That's probably a good mulch. So we're gonna start using this too. So you can really see the difference here. These are the ones we potted up last week. Not potted up, but these are tomatoes that were potted up last week. And these are tomatoes that were potted up 3 weeks ago. And then last week they had the cup filled up the rest level of the way with dirt. To recap, I learned this method from Next Level Gardening. Start here, you get roots, then you put more soil and you get more roots, and you do it one more time and you plant them. So these tomatoes are ready to go in the garden, and they might actually do that today. Not today, but this weekend. And these tomatoes need more dirt. And there's some more tomatoes over on the rolling shelf that's hardening up right now. One problem with my whole system is these haven't been hardening up as much. So that's a little bit of a risk. I do open the garage door, and you know, it's about 50 out there. Get a good breeze, they're in a window. So I think it might be okay. But anyway, we're gonna add a bunch more dirt to these today and the other tomatoes to get them potted up, and then we'll go from there. I mean, is anybody surprised I ran out of dirt like 5 plants before the end and had to go make more dirt? That's okay. These are done. Other news is that I did all the research on determinate and indeterminate, and it turns out the vast majority of these, except for the Romas, the cherries, and I think maybe the San Marzano, but the vast majority are indeterminate, and I figured out the difference. The part that's relevant to me, I don't know if this is the actual reason they're called indeterminates, but indeterminates will kind of go on forever. So if you think of the fact that I'm going to be vining my indeterminates and growing them for, like, you know, as long as they'll grow, they're growing for an indeterminate length. That's how I'm going to remember it. I don't know if that's really what they are, why they're called indeterminate. But so I sorted all that out, and the vast majority are indeterminate. So these are going to go outside and get hardened off. Tomatoes that are potted up. This, of course, as you'll recall, is only about half the tomatoes. We still have 72 more tomato plants right here. It's pretty ridiculous. But I think actually today, from here on out, these guys can stay outside. And they're going to. I think. I gotta work that out. But in any case, they're gonna stay in these trays, so I got room to pot up 10 more, so I'm gonna do that now. I realized there were 2 types that I did not yet have any potted up versions of them. Basic cherry, that was dumb, and then this black crim by Ohio Heirloom Seeds Company. So I decided to do 6 of each of those for a total of 12, even though I knew only 10 would fit in here, but I'm gonna have some extra room where these things were all sitting before. So now we're gonna go load them all up. But that should be the end of the tomato potting up for the day. I did order a table to be doing this outside today, a garden table. Amazon said it was gonna be here. I really should have ordered it months ago, though, because everybody's ordering garden tables. I tried not to order from Amazon, but everybody else is sold out. So this is probably a lie, and a guy knows when it'll show up, but I tried. Anyway, I think we are done potting up for the day. These are all done. Look at all these potted up peppers. They're growing nicely. The new tomatoes are growing nicely. More peppers. Still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 60 tomatoes to pot up. Those will come later. More peppers. Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to put stuff in the ground, which means the rest of today we're going to spend on ground prep, which the biggest part is sifting soil and getting it into the Birdie's bed so we can start making our soil. So it's going to be tedious, but that's what we're going to do for the rest of the day. I already made this soil though. It's already got the vermiculite and fertilizer in it and stuff like that. And I got a bunch of my mushroom compost right here. So we're just going to fill up some pots with the composed soil before we start sifting new topsoil to make more in the Birdie's beds. Hello! Like that Animotion song. Room to move.
Exactly like that song.
That's all I need.
Boy, that's a follow-up.
Give it to me. Room to move. All right, there we go. Got some visitors going for a new angle here. Like 3, maybe 4 loads per Birdie's bed. I bet it's 4, plus the compost and the vermiculite and all the amendments. And that was 1. That took about a half an hour. All right, by my rough calculation, I'm going to need to do about 5 loads per bed, plus the compost, 1 or 2 bags, plus the vermiculite bag, and some fertilizer. It's almost dinner time and our friends are here, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. That's not terrible, 10 loads. I could do that. That load is about half an hour, so we're looking at about 5 hours of work. I guess I'll spare you most of that in time lapse, even though I've been bitching and moaning to my friends all afternoon that the whole thing about these beds is everybody buys them on the internet and makes it look really fun and easy and doesn't talk about how fucking huge they are and how much work it is to put all the soil in there when you don't have a skid steer or a front end loader or something. But we'll live. Not sure how much I'm going to be able to do with the Greenstalk planter and getting some stuff in the ground. I might start with that tomorrow, so at least I get some plants in the ground to start gardening. We'll find out tomorrow. Talk then. Take care. Like the purple opal basil, I got 2 good plants here, but it was sort of on the end of the shelf facing the fan that was hardening off the plants, and I think the soil dried out faster than the rest of the container. So I'm going to pot up the 2 plants that worked, and I think I'm going to repot some of this stuff. It'll be later in the season, but that's okay. So I got those potted up, and the next thing is I want to plant more of this because I love it. It's my favorite basil, and I'm sad, and I've only got 2 plants, and I want some redundant seed. So no problem, but my soil here is not potting mix anymore. I'm using topsoil mixed with vermiculite and some other stuff to be my garden soil. So I need to figure out what I'm going to use for potting soil in this. I could use this, but what I think I'm going to try, and I've never used it yet, and everybody uses it and loves it, is coca-cola. So I'm going to bust this open and I'm going to peel off a piece and wet it down and try and make a potting medium out of coca-cola. So here we go. Look at that fluffy light mixture. I think I was supposed to mix something with it. I forgot, but we're just gonna try these. And now it is time to start doing 10 loads of dirt. Woo! All right, well, this is 4 loads of dirt. I'm going to do a second layer of amendment to this, adding compost and vermiculite and worm castings and a little blood meal. I'm getting a little worried about how much dirt I have left in my pile over there. So I calculated 10 loads and it looks like I was good on the calculation, but I need to get this one, and this one's gonna take another 5. So I'm gonna do my amendments to that one, and then I'm gonna turn to this one. And if I get 4 or 5 into this one and they're equal size, well, maybe we can, you know, split the last load or something, but we got to get it more even because I'm running out of dirt. And then God knows what I'm gonna do for the rest of my garden. I'm a little shocked. Full cubic yard of dirt and all of last year's dirt, and I still have like a ton of stuff to plant, so I'm gonna have to buy more dirt this week. Oh well. I failed in that quest, but let's get to work. Seven. I don't know, man. I think I might have one more, and I think it's not gonna be enough. I think we've used up the entire cubic yard of soil, which is crazy. And of course, these are halfway full already, so they probably use about a cubic yard each, which is pretty nuts. But you know, I'll never have to do this again. Every other year, I can just add compost and stuff on the top, amendments, and it'll be pretty good. So, one-time thing. All right, last round. Let's do it. Seven and a half loads today, and we have now officially used an entire cubic yard of dirt, along with 3 trash cans full of dirt from last year. This is crazy. I may have gotten overly ambitious by watching too many YouTube videos over the winter, but we're about done. We're gonna go put that in the Birdie's bed, add a bunch of compost. I got a plan to get them pretty close to the top, so we're gonna get those beds treated. That's our goal for today. If we have any time after that, we'll see. Let's finish. Okay, well, that is all the dirt I have. I have more compost though, so each one of these is gonna get an additional bag of compost. And then I think we're gonna, we'll add a little bit more perlite, and then I think we're gonna use the leaf mold compost as our mulch layer, and that should get pretty close to the top there. So let's check it out. Next year, I swear to God, I'm gonna find a way to do this with no plastic. I have some ideas, but some of this stuff I don't know how I'm gonna do, but I'll figure it out. No plastic, I'm sick of it, it's terrible. There we are. Added a layer of leaf mold compost on the top. Sort of partially composted. It's gonna be my mulch with tons of good nutrients. I'll let these beds sit for a week and start planting in them next week, which is very painful. I wanna be doing it this week. It's so nice out. But I'm going to now turn my attention back to the Greenstalk planter and get some compost in there and start planting. I have an hour and a half left before dinner, and I want to get some plants in the ground outside this weekend. So that's my goal. The cherry blossoms are almost here. It's very exciting. Planters. You look so good. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is the Greenstalk, and we are going to disassemble it, and we're going to add that compost to each of the 5 bins, and then once that's done, we're going to plant some stuff, find my hose, water it down, add some mulch. We have an hour and a half. That's the goal. Let's go. Well, I'm glad that didn't kill my child. I was really careful, as you see on the video, because we had a near accident. And I was very careful assembling it that time. But apparently it wasn't enough. Wow, man. They make these things look so easy on YouTube. Well, let's clean it up. So I figured out what happened. Okay, I'll wait for my kid. So I figured out what happened. This planter, these brackets have gotten more wide. You can see that's sort of a comparison there to say like this one. They're more narrow. I suspect it was the one on top over the last week, and it expanded in the sun, whereas the other ones were not allowed to expand. So when I put it back together now, I did not pay attention to the order, because you don't have to when you assemble it. And I put that one at number 3 instead of on the 5th, and so it collapsed the structure. My time-lapse camera overheated, so I don't know when to cut out, so you might not have that footage, but it was terrifying, and it almost killed my kid. But we are reassembling. I think we got it about together. It's a giant mess, gonna have to wash the porch down, but here we go. All right, there's a few other things I'd like to say about this catastrophe. One, that was the last of my dirt. I did have 1 bag of compost left, and I did manage to salvage most of it and use a little bit of compost offset, so that's good. 2, I have guests, and they don't, it's either over there in their camper. Ooh, there they are. Ooh, yeah, there. And, you know, COVID, pandemic, so they don't come in the house. They take this path. They go up this porch. So I totally had to clean it, because we are hanging out in that covered porch, and they would make a mess as they went in and out. So that was really annoying. 3, I totally promised my wife that I would not make a giant mess on the deck this year like I did last year, which is why I'm doing all that stuff down below, down there. 4, down there is a disgusting mess now, and I'm gonna have to deal with that in the coming days. That sucks. And I had a number 5. Oh, all right, there's a few other things I'd like to say about this catastrophe. 1, that was the last of my dirt. I did have 1 bag of compost left, And I did manage to salvage most of it and use a little bit of compost offset, so that's good. 2, I have guests, and they don't see, they're over there in their camper. Ooh, there they are. Ooh, yeah, there. And you know, COVID, pandemic, so they don't come in the house. They take this path, they go up this porch. So I totally had to clean it because we are hanging out in that covered porch, and they would make a mess as they went in and out. So that was really annoying. 3, I totally promised my wife that I would not make a giant mess on the deck this year like I did last year, which is why I'm doing all that stuff down below, down there. 4, down there is a disgusting mess now, and I'm gonna have to deal with that in the coming days. That sucks. And I had a number 5. Oh yeah, now I gotta pressure wash the whole porch again, which sucks. We had just had it pressure washed and it was immaculately clean before this, and now I might have to do it again. But, oh, and number 7, I don't have any plants in the ground, and that was my goal for the weekend. And it's dinner time. Hopefully, I will cheat and get at least one plant in on principle after dinner. So, we will find out. This may be the end of this video, or may not. Dun dun dun. Megan, say hi, Megan.
Hello.
This mint made it over the entire winter outside. And it's back. It's amazing.
Mint is so hardy.
It's amazing. These basils were inside all winter. They're now on the porch, which is very exciting, but you were most excited. I made a mistake. John is still alive. All right, this thing is dirty. We're gonna have to clean it. But look, we have plants outside. We got fennel and parsley, a watermelon, and what's that? Sage, Thai basil, little Napa cabbages, some onions, some lettuce, some celery, a loofah, all growing. So the weekend's over, but we made it, and this thing needs cleaning. The porch is gonna need cleaning, that's all for next week. But even since you last saw this, look at the tree. It's blooming even more. Have a lovely week. I will see you next weekend. Thanks for watching.